The prairie stretched endless beneath a bruised sky, where dusk lingered like a wounded animal refusing to rest. Grass bent low in the wind, whispering secrets older than men, and every shadow seemed to lean toward her. Wichapi walked alone, her tall figure wrapped in a threadbare shawl, the dust of miles painting her moccasins pale. She carried no bundle, no horse, no promise of tomorrow, only a voice hoarse with need and a hope sharp enough to hurt. The horizon had always been wide, but tonight it felt like a wall closing in. Somewhere ahead, a lantern flickered at the edge of a ranch house, small and defiant against the night. She steadied her breath. Would they turn her away? The door creaked before she touched it. A man stepped into the frame, broad-shouldered and handsome in the rugged way of cowboys who lived more in the saddle than in a bed. His eyes were a flint gray, hard enough to strike sparks, and his boots thudded against the porch as if to remind the world he owned this land. Grizzly Sam they called him in town, a man both admired and envied for his wealth, and for the unbending line of his jaw. He stared at her with suspicion first, then with something darker, curiosity perhaps, or hunger he did not name. "Please give me shelter for one night," she said, voice low but unshaken. Her words carried the weight of storms weathered, of dignity clung to even when stripped bare. The man's mouth curved into something not quite a smile. "One night? You're mine now." The words fell heavy as a shackle. For a moment she thought to turn, to let the plains swallow her again, yet the wind clawed at her back, cold as rejection itself. Pride warred with exhaustion, and pride lost. She stepped past him, crossing the threshold into warmth that felt like surrender. He closed the door, and the storm outside rose as if mocking her defeat. What storm, she wondered, would rise inside these walls? The room smelled of smoke and leather, of beans simmering too long on the stove. Firelight carved shadows across wooden beams, revealing the order of a man used to control. She stood near the door, refusing to sit until told, her spine tall, her gaze steady. Sam leaned against the mantel, studying her with the quiet arrogance of one who believes the world bends to his will. Yet beneath his stare flickered something less certain, as though he had not expected her beauty, nor the way her silence felt like judgment. They ate without words. Each bite chewed carried the echo of questions neither asked. He stole glances when he thought she would not notice, at the strong lines of her face, at the fire in her eyes that neither hunger nor weariness had dimmed. She felt his gaze but offered none in return. The air grew thick, a house too small for the distance between them. Could silence bridge them, or would it break them apart? When morning came, the town had already heard. Gossip moved faster than cattle on a stampede. A rich cowboy with his pick of brides had taken in an older native woman. Mocking laughter spilled from saloons, from church steps, from markets where wagons rattled and women whispered behind gloved hands. Wichapi walked through it like a reed in wind, straight, unbending, but not untouched. Eyes followed her, sharp as arrows, stripping her dignity layer by layer. Sam walked beside her, jaw tight, but said nothing. His silence cut deeper than words. Was his pride strong enough to shield her, or was it her he wished hidden? Back at the ranch, her hands found work without needing permission. She mended shirts with steady stitches, patched saddlebags with quiet precision, smoothed splinters from the porch rail. Each task was small, but each carried defiance. She was not guest, not prisoner, but presence. Sam noticed. He watched her fingers, the patience they held, the way she left the house cleaner, steadier, more alive than before. One night she placed a carved wooden feather by his bed, a hawk's wing, delicate yet fierce. He turned it in his hand, unsettled by the gift. What softened a hardened man faster, the storm outside or the kindness within? But the world was not soft. At the saloon, men jeered, their words sharp with cruelty. Got yourself an Indian widow instead of a wife, Sam? Lost your taste for white lace and pretty curls. Laughter cracked like whip. For the first time, Sam's calm fractured. His fist met jaw, his boot met rib. Blood spilled across sawdust, and shame clung to him heavier than sweat. That night, bruised and bitter, he sat silent as she tended him. Her hands were gentle, her eyes unyielding. He muttered, "They see me weaker for choosing you." She paused, cloth pressed to his temple. "Then let them see." Her words landed like a stone in still water, rippling through him. For the first time he saw not what the world mocked, but what she carried, strength forged in survival, dignity that outshone his wealth. What worth was land or cattle if it could not buy respect of the heart? The days stretched, weeks weaving themselves into a fragile rhythm. They rode together across open ranges, the wind tangling her hair, the sun burning his skin. Silences grew companionable, not hostile. One day, her laughter broke free, light, sudden, startling as thunder after drought. He found himself craving it, waiting for it, treasuring it as if it were gold hidden in the earth. At night, he listened for the rhythm of her breath, steady, grounding. Love, he realized, was not fire but stitching, two torn fabrics mended into something stronger. Could it be that he was the one mended by her? The test came sudden, as tests always do. Raiders set fire to a neighbor's homestead. Smoke rose black against the stars, flames eating wood like hunger unchained. Sam saddled his horse, rifle slung, heart steady. But Wichoppy followed, against his protest. Side by side, they rode into the chaos, her braids snapping behind her like a banner. Gunfire cracked, horses screamed, men shouted. Sam fought hard, but was cornered, 3 against 1, steel flashing. Then she stepped in front of him. Her stance was unyielding, eyes fierce as mountain stone. The raiders faltered, startled by her defiance, by the sight of Sam standing unflinching at her back. They retreated, muttering, smoke swallowing them into darkness. The homestead stood scarred but alive, survivors clinging to one another in gratitude. In the smoldering silence, Sam turned to her. The firelight carved her tall and resolute, not possession, not guest, partner. He spoke softly, words unpolished but true. "Stay. Not because I claim you. Because I need you." She did not answer with speech. Instead, her hand found his, fingers steady, certain. That silence was vow enough. Could this be the moment their two worlds finally entwined? Days later, the prairie breathed calm again. The sky widened blue and endless, as if blessing their fragile bond. The town's whispers shifted, no longer mockery but uneasy respect. They had faced fire and stood unbroken. Wichoppy stood on the porch, wind lifting her hair, no longer wanderer, no longer outcast. Grizzly Sam sat beside her, wealth now measured not in acres but in the quiet strength beside him. And if you, listener, should wonder what love is, perhaps it is not thunder. Perhaps it is rain, soft, insistent, carving rivers where none dared flow. Sometimes what we seek is not shelter for one night, but the courage to open our own door and let grace step inside.